Good morning, class. This is day one of Mr. Miller being away. I'm already missing you guys, but I already know that you're going to do great with our sub, Miss Edwards. And if it ends up being somebody else at some point, I'm sure you will do great with them as well. What you will need today is a blank piece of paper, maybe two if we get to that point, or you can use your composition notebook. You will need your calculator, you know your numbers, and you will need a pencil. Once you have gotten out your bell work, or gotten out your piece of paper, you're going to do a quick bell work problem. And we're going to set a timer for 2 minutes. The timer should be somewhere around in the room, probably by the front. It's a little bitty white module with some red buttons on it. And just set that for 2 minutes when everybody's ready and hit start, please. And at any time that I give you a time limit, just go ahead and pause the video. That way it's not running on and they're not getting their delayed time. Now for slope here, that is directly related to the number in front of x right here. When it is in y equals mx plus b formula, and this is a dash, that might be confusing. It's not negative y. So when you are given an equation like this, your slope, as I said, is just right there. So your slope equals 2 over 1 or 2. Your y-intercept is going to be the number on the end. So it is 7. And that was your bell work. Today we're going to talk about cell phones. Okay? That doesn't mean get them out. It means we're going to talk about it. But this is a graph that represents Y money in X minutes for a cell phone. These are minutes over what your plan provides. So we're going to say that this is a fee. So each one of these dots is on a line that represents a fee for if you go over the minutes your plan allows. Now just by looking at this graph, I can tell you right now that it's going up, so it's positive. Okay, that is a positive line. This is 0. This is undefined. That is negative. So this is a positive slope. When we're looking at this, in the past we were just, let me change this color to make it dark enough for you. And we'll go with blue. In the past we were just making a triangle like that, or making a triangle like this, and you would just have 1 up, 2 over, so 1/2. But if you remember from yesterday, that's not going to work on these because it's not going up by 1 right here. These are not in increments of 1. These are in increments of 10, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. It's counting my tens. Down here it's counting 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100, 110. So I actually screwed this up. All these numbers on the bottom are wrong. How come nobody told me? You guys are so selfish. I'm blaming Maddie. This should be 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 220, and so on. Those are counting by 20s. Okay, so down here it's counting by 20s. Up here it's counting by 10s. You guys get the picture. Okay, so the first part of this is going to say, what is my slope and my y-intercept going to be when looking at this graph? Well, m is slope, b was y-intercept. Your slope is still going to be with a triangle, but as we said over here, we're counting by 10, so going up one line is the same thing as 10. Going over two lines over here would be 20, 20. So instead of putting 20, 20, we're going to put 40, because that's 20 plus 20. Okay? And if you remember that slope is rise over run, you will remember that you're going to put 10 over 40, because it's going up 10 and then going over 40. Now, that can simplify. That can simplify to 1 over 4. So we've already got half of our equation. And as I'm going through here, I know I didn't really specify it. You do not have to draw this graph, but any of the equations that you do, like this slide and moving on, you are going to have to write on your piece of paper, just so you have for notes to reference and so that you can help follow along. So M is 1/4. What is B going to be? Well, B is just talking about where does my line start. That's really dark for our highlighter. Where does my line start? Right here, it starts at 10. So, therefore, B is 10. My equation is y equals 1 over 4 x plus 10, because it starts at 10 and it goes here. Now your next step is, if I went 200 minutes over my plan, what would be my fee? So when I'm looking at this, I know that, here, let me change this color to be lighter. Don't you do this to me. There we go. There we go. Make it yellow again. 200 minutes. That is the important part of information there. So if it's 200 minutes, I'm still using y equals 1/4 x plus 10. Well, what is 200 minutes going to be? It's either going to be x or y. Has to be one of them. So if I look back at my graph, we said that y was money, so x is going to have to be minutes. Okay? So going back to here, if x is minutes, it goes there. So y equals 1/4 times 200 plus 10. And this is the part where you guys kind of struggled yesterday. You were not sure how to solve that. That's the easy part. You can either type this whole thing in your calculator, or you can work it out one by one. You can do 1/4 times 200. That'll give you 50 plus 10. Add those together. Y equals 60. And that would be your output, because x is your input. Give you all a second to write that down. Now, this is where we were supposed to work it out. I made a little slide for you, but I'm just so good I already did it on this page. Lastly, on this graph, I want you to know how to find if you had a fee of $30, what is that representing? So I'm going to have to jump all the way back to the beginning. Not that far. A fee of $30. Well, dollars goes here, so that means it's going to be y. So 30 represents y. So when I go to fill out y equals 1/4 x plus 10, instead of putting y, I'm going to put 30, because 30 was my fee, which is talking about money, and money was on this axis because that's y. So jump forward ahead again. So now here I am going to have to actually work it out like a two-step equation. Minus 10 on both sides. 30 minus 10 is 20 equals 1/4 x. From there, anytime you have a number right next to x, you have to divide. And 20 divided by 1/4 is, there's one brain dead, sorry, 80. Alright, so give you some time there, and at any point I'm doing these videos or anything like that, feel free to have this up, pause it, and say, hey, I need to get, finish copying this down. I know sometimes I talk a little fast and I write fast, so just make sure you're advocating for yourself and saying, hey, I need some more time. Your exit slip. Y equals 3x minus 2. When your input is 5, what is your output? So you have input and output. Input is 5. What is your output? So go ahead and pause this. We're going to give you about 5 minutes. Now, if y equals 3x minus 2 and your input is 5, that means that it's x. So y equals 3x minus 2 when x is 5. Well, that just means instead of putting x here, you're going to put times 5. Woo! Times 5. 3 times 5 is 15 minus 2. Y equals 15 minus 2. Y equals 13. Okay, so there is your output. Okay, and I hope that was helpful. If you guys end up with extra time, feel free to do some Khan Academy practice. Have a good day.